It's actually insane that an agent can do this. In one click of a button, I can smoke all the way across the middle. I can smoke top ramps to stop aggressive ramps pressure. And I can stop main with one ability. And it takes about 2 seconds for it to land. I think one of the biggest problems that people have with playing agents that are a little bit more complex in this game is that if there's no really basic pattern recognition, it's hard for people to kind of understand what they're looking at. So, for example, when you look at Harbor, you see, okay, he has an orb smoke and he has a wall. What other agent has a wall and an orb smoke? Well, Viper, right? Viper is the only one that has these two abilities or similar types of abilities. And so people just equate Harbor to Viper, and that's wrong. This agent is nothing like Viper. And that very basic misconception is one of the biggest problems with people understanding how to use this agent correctly. So in today's video, I just want to kind of explain the general play patterns of how I would use Harbor if I was building comps with it, and try to explain what this agent actually is and why he's good. So the first thing that we have to do is we just have to redefine his abilities a little bit. Obviously, the orb smoke is very similar to Omen smoke, but it has a little bit of extra nuance. Number one, it lasts for 19 seconds with a 30-second cooldown, and that's great. It's a great entry point. It recharges, and you can place it exactly like you would place an Omen smoke. It's the same size as an Astra smoke, I believe, or the same size as a Viper orb, essentially. Now, one of the biggest problems I see people have with this ability is that you only get one of them, and it can be broken if you put the shield on. And really, there's two things that I have to say about that. First of all, if you want a smoke, don't shield it. It's that simple. It's just a 19-second smoke, and if at some point somebody starts spamming you, yeah, you can put on the shield and then cross the angle, and then if they break it, you're good, because you used the smoke for its intended purpose, and it probably saved you from maybe being spammed, so seems pretty useful to me. Now, obviously, you only have one of them, and so how do you use this smoke? Well, you would use it basically like any other smoke that recharges that you would use for defaulting. So, for example, let's say I want to take mid control. I'm going to smoke off either mail or I'm going to smoke off vents. So let's just go ahead and smoke off vents so that I can scale up into mid. This is exactly what I would do if I was playing Astra. This is exactly what I would do if I was playing Omen or really any other smoke. You know, people might say like, well, what if you have to smoke off multiple angles? And the answer is that realistically, if you have to use two smokes in your default, you're probably not doing something correct anyway. Because if you use both of your smokes in a default, let's say you're playing Omen and I were to smoke off this, and then I were to smoke off this, well, now the other team knows I can't go anywhere until my smokes have regenerated, because I don't have any smokes. The vast majority of the time, people are not using both Omen smokes to start a round because it just doesn't make any sense, and it makes the round really, really easy for your opponents to play. Now, with Harbor, you actually can go somewhere if you use your smoke because you have another form of smoke in your wall. And so if I default like this, and then let's say I actually want to quickly go ahead and speed up into B site, well, I can still do that because I have a wall and I can wall off, you know, however many angles I want. It's going to wall off stairs. This is going to wall off spawn. So it's as if I actually had 3 smokes available to me. And 3 smokes is something that only one character in the game has, and that's Brimstone. So I want to make that comparison now. And let me just kind of explain where I'm going with this. So Harbor's wall does not regenerate anymore. And this is probably like the #1 complaint about this agent is, oh, why does he only have one wall? You only get one wall. He doesn't have enough utility. This one wall is bad. Well, you know who else's smokes don't regenerate? Brimstone. If Brimstone uses all 3 smokes in 1 second, he has 19 seconds of smoke uptime, and that's it for the entire round. They don't come back. Nobody complains about it. So I really want you to start thinking about Harbor's wall as Brimstone's 3 smokes. So another great way to kind of hammer this comparison home is to actually just go to the map Bind, where Brimstone is played all the time and is obviously a very good agent, and just kind of look at how people might attack the site. So a fast Brimstone execute on Bind might look something kind of like this. Right here. Maybe we molly this off, and then we're going to smoke 1, 2, and 3. Holy smoke! Nobody can shoot us from top truck. Smoke off this angle. We smoke off this angle, and we come and we plant the spike. Let's say that we've got showers control. And if you're playing Harbor, it's going to look pretty similar. Throw your smoke, top truck, all the way across. And this time you actually get the added benefit, if you want, of having this smoked off. You've got top truck smoked off, you've got this smoked off, and you've got this smoked off. So it's basically the exact same thing as Brimstone, except you have one more angle to smoke if you want. Or if you don't want lamp smoked, you could always come throw it like this. Is going to accomplish the same type of thing. And so essentially, Harbor's wall is just functioning the same as dropping all of your Brimstone smokes at once, right? It just gives you a lot of coverage all at once, super, super fast, so you can quickly hit the site, get the spike down, and move on to the next phase of the round. And even though Harbor is not Viper, he's not a lurker, he's not supposed to be played like that, let's just say that we wanted to pull out a random Viper round on Bind. Let's say we wanted to contact into lamps, for example. Maybe it's an eco round, and we're just trying to do some sort of like old school Viper tech. Well, we can do a fairly similar round just by throwing the wall immediately. We can put our smoke here, and we can just walk up behind our wall and our smoke. We can maybe even shield this in case we're worried about getting spammed. And then let's say we have like 5 people ready to pop through, jump in, take this fight, take lamps control. And so we've essentially just played a Viper round, even though we don't have a Viper on our team. And it's that type of creativity that I think makes Harbor so cool, because he allows you to play a lot of different types of rounds that you can kind of take from different types of agents. Let's just say, for example, that we want to smoke off garden and get the orb control. Brimstone's going to burn a smoke like this. The team is going to scale up, take control of the orb, maybe fake some pressure A, and then we want to actually hit onto the B site. Well, now Brimstone only has 2 smokes left, and so when you go into the site execute, you're going to have to decide, okay, are we smoking off hookah and CT? Are we smoking off elbow and CT? Are we smoking off close and just trying to plant super fast in the front of site? These are all choices that you have to make when you're playing the Brimstone. Let's look at that similar playstone with Harbor. So in this case, we're going to use our Cove. Let's say they have an operator, and so we don't want to get, shot trying to scale up B long. So we'll put our Cove at the top of B long. And in this case, we're going to continue to scale up here. Maybe they try to spam us. We can react by putting up our shield, get into the Cove. Let's say that we've pushed them off the angle. We get the orb control, etc. We have B long control just like we did in the Brimstone round. Now, again, we do have to kind of make choices. Do we want to smoke off elbow, CT? Do we want to smoke off hookah, CT? Let's just keep it simple. Let's smoke off elbow and CT. Smoke here. We're going to smoke off CT. And then we're going to drop a smoke here. So now we have everything smoked off. We've essentially used 1 smoke, 2 smokes, 3 smokes, maybe even 4 smokes, and then the 1 smoke at the beginning of the round. So we've essentially used 5 smokes here, whereas Brimstone might only have 3. And if we wanted to go the other option and smoke off hookah and CT, we can also do that. We just have to cross into this corner so that we don't slow our teammates when we try to scale into the site. So yeah, that's another thing that people always complain about is, oh my God, his wall slows his teammates. It's so bad. Well, all you have to do is just position a little bit differently most of the time. So we'll just execute smoking off hookah and CT in this case. So hookah smoked, CT smoked, and then we just have to watch elbow. Or if we have that other smoke up, we can always go ahead and do this.
Water rising. Don't set.
And again, if people are trying to spam us, we can always put up the shield while we plant. And so we've, smoked off all these angles. So another thing that I think people are getting consistently wrong about Harbor is sort of the map selection that you want to play him on. I see a lot of people talking about, oh, Harbor on Abyss, oh, Harbor on Breeze, Harbor on these big maps. And yes, the wall is pretty good on these maps if you use it for attack, for example. But I'm actually looking at the smaller maps being the better places to play Harbor. And the reason for that is if you can pick a map where you can affect both sites instantly on defense with your wall, I think that is when Harbor is strongest. And so the reason I'm looking at these smaller maps as the perfect maps to play Harbor on is because if you can affect both sides of the map with your wall, like instantly, it allows you to react super well on defense. So what's the most common smoke pattern on this map on defense? Well, everybody's throwing this smoke at the start of the round, whether you're playing Omen, Astra, Viper, whatever. Everybody smokes this, spams a little bit, slows down the mid-scaling of the attackers. And Harbor only having one smoke, this might be a problem if they were to speed up into B or A. But I do have a wall that I can react with, and that's the important part. Because let's say I smoke this, I throw this smoke at the beginning of the round, the other team is going to quickly hit the B site. Well, because I have this wall and I can reach the B site very easily, I can throw it just instantly like this, or maybe they're hitting A. I throw my cove at the beginning of the round, and I hear them, or my teammates are saying, hey, they're hitting A. Well, I can just quickly throw this off if I want to be more precise, or I can just instantly, like that, and start rotating. And so to hammer that point home, let's just do it with Omen. Omen starts the round, smokes here. Oh, they're hitting A site. Okay, well, I need to go help my teammate A, so I'm going to go ahead and smoke A. It's basically the exact same time as it took to do that with Harbor. I've thrown my default smoke, and now I've used my second smoke to block off A, and now I have no smokes for about 35 seconds. With Harbor, your code would come up a little bit faster, but it's basically the exact same smoke pattern. And now, because I talked about Harbor being similar to Brimstone, let's do a similar comparison with Brim. So start of the round, Brim's gonna smoke mid. Okay, now I need help on B site. Okay, well I can smoke B. I need help on A site. I can smoke A. So it's basically the exact same thing. In fact, I think Brimstone's smoke radius is probably about exactly the same as Harbor's wall distance. So let's actually check that. Let's say Brimstone is playing an A link and he needs to smoke B main for his team. If I stand right here in this corner, I can do it. Let's say I'm playing Harbor. I use my cove at the beginning of the round here, and I need to smoke B site for my team. Well, looks like I can do it from the same spot as Brimstone. I can actually even go a little bit further back if I wanted to. Let's say I'd come out here. This might be a problem for Brim to be able to throw smoke from this far away. But with Harbor, I can do it. And this might even give me a safer rotation to go help my teammates on B. Let's look at Haven for an example. Start of the round, just like any other smoker, I'm just gonna smoke A lobby, and then I'm gonna play around B. And let's say that all of a sudden, maybe we get some pressure C, the other team is speeding up towards the C side of the map. Well, cool. We can just smoke off C, we can smoke off garage somewhat, and just help our teammates on C. Obviously, this does leave a bit of a pocket here. You know, I might want to throw this a little bit more precisely, but it just kind of depends on the timing of the round. If I need to help quickly against a rush, I can just throw a straight wall. If I have more time to react, I can maybe be playing here, smoke off garage a little bit more precisely, and smoke off C, right? Okay, they're actually speeding up towards the A side of the map. Well, just like this, boom, I've now essentially just thrown the standard Gen G Viper wall, except it's a Harbor wall that slows people when they try to scale. It's essentially the exact same wall, smokes off short, smokes off long. Let's go ahead and flip it around on the attack side. Let's say we're gonna do a C long default. So maybe we smoke this off to stop being shot by an operator, and we wanna pick up the orb. We pick up the orb, somebody starts to spam us. We can now do that, pick up the orb, and now we're gonna go ahead and head over to the A site, and we're gonna do an A side execute. Sova maybe drones out through lobby. And with an Omen, you might come over here and scale this way so that you can maybe paranoia through this line. And then you're going to smoke Heaven and you're going to smoke CT. But with Harbor, you probably want to scale sewers instead so that you can smoke more effectively. So in this case, we're going to come down here. And then when we're ready to execute, we're just going to go ahead and wall like this. So we wall CT. We wall Heaven, and it's basically the exact same thing. We smoked off C long, we picked up the orb, and we executed on A site. We could also scale long if we wanted to, and we just have to do a little bit more work with our wall, like this. Make sure that's good. So realistically, you can kind of do the same thing that you would do with an Omen, with a Harbor. So the real question is, when should you be playing Harbor? And the answer to that is when you want sort of a hybrid of Brimstone and Omen. That's kind of what Harbor is, in addition to having sort of some other unique qualities like his ultimate, which is just completely broken, if you ask me. I mean, just look at this. It's a paranoia that hits like the entire site. And you can stop it as a wall if you want to. He gives you the big multi-smoke execute power that Brimstone has, and he also gives you the flexibility and rechargeable smokes of an Omen. And he gives you the ability to kind of switch between those two tempos at a moment's notice, right? You can start out in a default like you would be doing with an Omen. Maybe you're smoking middle on split, and then you're trying to, play for general map control and eventually go into an execute. Well, Harbor can do the exact same thing, right? Let's just say that we smoke middle on split, we take mid control, and then we are playing for general map control, and then we are eventually going to go into an execute. But let's say that we want to speed up that tempo and play at a little bit faster pace than the Omen might be able to. Well, luckily for us, we have High Tide. So we can just go ahead and throw down an additional 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 smokes in terms of value with this ability. And yes, it doesn't regenerate, but that doesn't matter because we've already probably won the round. We used our initial smoke that will come back for post plant if we want to use it there. And then we used our non-regen smokes for the actual execute. So we've essentially done Omen's job and also Brimstone's job with one agent. That seems pretty strong to me.